Okay, so I hope all you are doing good. So I'm just going to say is that, you know, I was watching a movie the other night called Death of a Unicorn, and it kind of emphasizes like how power and greed, you know, that lust for it can really destroy you. It's like a poison to us, you know. A shaman was once asked that what is poison, and he said that anything that be anything that we don't need is poison, whether it's power, food, laziness, ego, ambition, and greed, vanity, fear, anger, or whatever, you know. You know, and it was also said that pride goes before destruction. Like, that's the same thing. The same holds for like greed and like pride of wealth destroys wealth, and you know, pride of love destroys love, and most of all, like pride of knowledge is what destroys knowledge. So, you know, like, and I've also learned that I also need to realize that, you know, it was said in the Gospel of Luke that we should love our enemies, you know. But you know, love your enemies, but you know, do not judge others. Here's and you won't be judged. Like, do not condemn others, but and that's what a lot of self-righteous people do, is that they condemn others because for not doing for doing, you know, for like because of whatever for whatever, you know. You know, self-righteousness just kind of isn't, you know, people like that just in faith just they wallow in it, and they think they have a right to scorn others, you know. You know? You know, and there's another thing about the lamp that says, like, you know, I mean, like, when you light a lamp, you don't cut, it can't, do not, you don't even cover it you don't cover it so it wouldn't be seen, you just light it so it would give light to everyone, you know, because everything that we know that we hide in secret will one day have to come out to the world, you know, sometimes, like, you know, things that we're afraid to talk about, all we need is a listening hand, you know. Another thing about the movie I watched on Tuesday night was sometimes all it takes is someone who is pure-hearted to stop the madness, you know. And something inside me, like, tells me that I am very pure, that I have some purity. You know, I mean, the origin is in our hearts, though. You know, if we don't clean our heart's ecology and inspire others to do the same, we become an instrument in polluting the environment, you know. You know, if we create purity in our hearts, we can contribute purity to those around us. You know? And almost like the same way as saying, like, if I'm not a part of the solution, I'm just part of the problem, you know? Like, it's all pretty black and white, you know? Like there are things that I just can't stand neutral in, you know? A lot of, even, and when it comes to, like, people being treated poorly in injustices, you know, to be neutral is just to be complicit, you know, and being complicit means you're just an accessory, you know. I mean, this morning actually I saw a Canadian song from Frozen Ghost, you know, like that was like, you know, it was a song that that was actually like anti-censorship called Should I See, you know. Like, yeah, like it's all these, some of these politicians are gonna try and take away our rights to, yeah. But I have a feeling that in our election, like Mark Carney is about more than just money. It's about control. Control. He's more interested in controlling in people from the inside out, mind and will. You know. If it were possible, myself and a younger girl could end up being implanted with nanomachines to be kept in, to have our body, every part of our body frozen in time, and in a sealed chamber that would not break, if it were possible. I mean, it would, it would have we would be sealed away completely. Not just our physical body, but our will too. And then, yeah, the technology would be similar to what is being used to restrain every human being. Just one click of a button there. Every movement will be controlled. And then, but not, even though many people do not agree with Trump, I still believe he's doing a lot. He may be crazy, but there are times where he's actually had a point. I mean, people who are trying to kill people just to invoke the name of God are just not. They're not really about living up to their religion. They just take it too extreme. It's always the ones that only see the world their way. Many people are. It just kind of, war's always been a problem, but then there will be a war that will end it all. But only the chosen ones will rise. Nice. Like some of these convicted murderers, even from those at a young age who have been sentenced to life, some of them may have find themselves repentant and or anything. But hopefully someday when they come to their senses, because some of them may have actually got certain marks on her palms or something in there, or like markers of the holy name and implanted in them, like planted into them by the Holy Spirit Himself. But I find that I have all these signs. I have some of these signs, of what as a descendant of the chosen ones. When I've read the Bible, I find that Jesus Himself, he had a simple robe. He was very humble. He was very kind. He had charismatic and eloquent. He withstood the temptations. He taught the law. He saw what would happen in the future. He was said, those who would go enter the kingdom of heaven will go through Him. You can't just say these things because your actions will tell the entire story. So we all need to match our actions with our words. Because not all Christians are going to enter heaven. Only those who have done only those who believe in Jesus and with their wholeheartedly, but not just their thoughts, heart and heart, but with their actions too. You know, when years, 18 years of serving as a support for Sean and hockey, and then baseball and football and basketball. You know, I do it because I don't expect anything in return, but you know, the only reason I get certain things is because I inspire that treatment. You know, and it has been said, do not take revenge because the rotten fruits fall by themselves. You know, it's like you better love for your enemies. You know, just $5 or just double it. You know, and that's just because I need to realize and hopefully understand. But I mean, there wouldn't be need for understanding because I know that there are people out there. Their intentions are fair, but what if they're not going at it the right way? You know, because like it was said in Matthew chapter 7, verse 21 to 23. Is that not all of those who believe in God? Not all of those who call out Lord, Lord, and will enter the kingdom of heaven. It's those who have believed in Jesus and with their mind, body, and heart. That will, those who have done it, who have done His will. You know, because when judgment comes, they will say they've done all these things, like done miracles, cast out demons, and prophesied their name, but you're not being deceived because you never knew them. You know, like, but now, like, even similarly, like, even if I want to do, like, I go to other communities to do game, to do hockey games and all that, I don't expect anything in return. Not even at the least, you know. I don't know. Because you know what? I don't expect all. You know, like, I don't expect anything in return now. But you know, much as you need to love your enemies, but I don't give my time to those who are just gonna be a thorn in my side, you know. It's just, to me, just kind of really, like, if you're gonna end up not making me, if you're gonna end up making me miserable, I'm just gonna walk away. It's like they said, like, hey, why would you worry about a speck in someone's eye when he can't see through the log in your own? Like, like, how would you, and, like, similarly, like, if my problems are smaller than what yours are, why would you think about helping me, kind of, because if you can't see past the log, the bigger problems you have, what's the point of helping me with my problems? Which is where, like, it's kind of hypocrisy right there. So, what I would say, you have bigger problems, you deal with them yourself. And when you're done with them, then you can help me with my littler problems. So, contacts, you know. I don't need to be a savior to those who are just gonna pull me under. Like, if I'm a lifeguard, then okay, but if I'm just an average swimmer, then, you know, they're just gonna pull me under. I'll just, like, I'll just call someone else, call the lifeguard to get you out, you know? You know, I can't help people fix themselves, you know? You know? And, you know, I mean, and I learned that I don't know what's going to be revealed to me, but only God's timing. God will know when the time is right for me to carry out something, you know. As I always said, only God's timing is perfect. When I know what my special purpose is, I will then fulfill it. Because I believe, but I'm also starting to think that maybe I can be a kind of a leader, you know, learn to be a leader in my life, but you know what, I know there are problems out there, but you know, there are things that I just can't hide. Like that parable of the lamp, you know. Things will eventually end up being shown, and, you know. But now just that old saying, just don't let the others get you down. Just, it's easy to say, but it'd be challenging to do, you know. You know, I mean, life's too short to put up with people who are just gonna bring me down, you know. That's just how I see it, you know. If you're gonna put your problems on me, either they're too big for me, that are bigger than mine, just don't expect, you know. Why would you want to help my problem? You know, you gotta learn to find these things, and then we can basically, yeah, you know, once I find, when I find, you know, when I find out for myself what my purpose is, then I will then fulfill it. Because I can feel. My intuition can tell me that we have to sleep soundly while we still can, because one day the time for peace will be behind us, and then we'll have no choice but to go to war. You know, face the fury of the elements out there. Some will live, many will die, but with faith and courage we will destroy our enemies. And then I will come, and I will be united, and I would then hopefully be one with God. So anyways, brothers, sisters, faithful companions, just stay strong. And remember, God bless you all. Bye.